it's alright. Don't be dead fast, to gas, gas, gas. I was down, with spikes right through my head. But it's alright. Now, if I just gas, but it's alright. Don't be dead fast, gas, gas, gas. Come on.
Repeatedly in the past 1 million years, we've had cold and hot, called glacial periods and interglacial periods, and that's depicted on the chart that I just showed you. That's Jim Hansen's chart, where if you notice the sea level rise, it goes up to where it is today and stops. Mother Nature has not been able to flood New York City and Miami on all these occasions. Sea level rose just so high and then stopped. But this time, if we emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, we will cause a runaway greenhouse effect, which will cause all of the ice on Antarctica to melt. And if that ice melted, goodbye Miami Beach in New York City. And that's my goal. I need your help. How much ice is there on Antarctica, first of all? Picture looking down, suppose you look down on a 40-acre field. That's the dimensions of 1/4 mile by 1/4 mile. And suppose that field is now a lake 1/4 mile by 1/4 mile. If this lake was 1/4 mile deep, that would be a lot of water. Let's raise this lake up into its surface level so we can look at it. It's a cube of water, 1/4 mile by 1/4 mile. If you had 64 of those cubes packed together atop one another, you'd have a cubic mile of water. Ooh, that's a big old box of water. A cubic mile of water. Can you imagine looking at a big cube of water, 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile? How much water is in the ice on Antarctica? A lot. 6 million cubic miles. God. If that were to melt, of course Miami Beach would be flooded. But here's the problem. I'm going to show you a chart of the temperatures in Antarctica. See the red? That means Antarctica is hot, right? Well, not really. So in order to exceed the previous levels of sea level rise that's happened repeatedly on this planet, who knows why? Hansen says it's forcing amplification, feedback, a slight trigger just caused the Earth to warm up suddenly and the ice melted on Greenland. It ain't never melted on Antarctica to speak of. All that ice lately, in the past million years, has remained there through all the previous warming episodes that happened about every 110,000 years. Only 15,000 years ago, the ice melted, ocean levels rose, we entered the Holocene. Today's climate, perfect climate, the Antarctica refuses to melt. The last warm period was 3 degrees hotter than today, according to Al Gore's chart from Vostok. 3 degrees hotter than today. Antarctica didn't melt. You know why? Because the sea level rose to the same level it is today. So 99% of the sea level we can expect from warming has already happened. Very little can happen unless you can just help me figure out a way to melt that ice on Antarctica. The temperature is just too cold. It won't melt. The sun doesn't shine there 6 months out of the year. And when the sun does shine, it goes around the horizon. Never gets high off the horizon. There's just no solar irradiation to speak of that could cause ice to melt. How the heck are we going to melt all that ice so we can destroy New York City and Miami Beach? If we could just figure out what the dinosaurs did. They had the earth so warm back then that there was no ice on Antarctica back then. Matter of fact, it was a swamp, a warm tropical swamp on both poles. Both of the Earth's poles were warm tropical swamps. We know that because of coal and petroleum and fossils found there. It was a tropical swamp, about like the climate of Miami Beach. If we could return to those days, Miami Beach would be flooded. New York City would be flooded. We could just figure out what the dinosaurs did.